Hello there, I'm Brian Cormack Carr, life and career coach and creator of the Vital Vocation online coaching program. And in this video I want to share with you my 7-step job loss action plan. I'm very aware of the fact that many of you are currently dealing with the effects of the recession and are very worried about the effects of the recession. So I don't want in any way to minimise the fact that the recession is a real concern for job hunters and career changers. And in fact many of you will have found your way to this video and to my other services because you've lost your jobs as a result of the recession. So it may well be that you have been affected directly through the loss of the job, but it may also be that you're just concerned about the effect of the recession and are worried about what you will do if you find that you do lose your job. And so that's why I wanted to prepare this video. What I wanted to emphasise to you first though was to say to you that regardless of how bad the financial climate is out there, there are jobs out there. There are always jobs out there, and there are always new jobs being created. Now, why can I say that so in such a blasé way when things are so difficult out there? Well, it's not to do with wishful thinking in any way, it's to do with logic. The fact of the matter is that even in a static job market, people will take sabbaticals, they will leave their jobs, they will get other jobs, they will die, they will restructure and find that their jobs have gone and that new jobs have been created. So even when things are pretty depressed in the job market, you will find that new jobs are constantly being created and constantly popping up. The key, of course, especially when things are as difficult as they are now, is to make sure that you're in the best possible position to get those jobs and so on. But many of you will want something a bit more immediate than that, because you may well be sitting here watching this video having just lost your job. And so I want to share with you what you need to do. The first thing that you need to realise is that it's perfectly natural for you to be feeling, why me? Especially if you're looking around and seeing that there are other people in similar situations to you who haven't lost a job, perhaps colleagues at your place of work who haven't lost their jobs. So it's natural to think, why me? You may also be aware of the fact that there are many people, and I see this a lot amongst my clients, people who, when faced with redundancy, think it's the end of the world, but later on, a few months later on, will look back, sometimes as short as a few weeks later on, will look back and say, actually, that moment, although it was horrible to go through at the time, was one of the best things that could have happened to me because it led me on to bigger and better things. However, that's small comfort if you just lost your job and you're faced with bills and you've not got a paycheck coming in. So what I put together for you is something that you might consider first aid for fear, or an emergency job loss action plan, because these are the steps that I would advise you to take if you're in that situation. So the first one is don't panic. Easy to say, I know, but what we're about to do is take you through a process which will enable you to sort out your situation step by step. So you need to take your time over this. So pause the video if you need to, get yourself a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and we'll move on. So the next important step to take is you need to consider your immediate priorities. Now those are most likely to be financial. So you need to think about how can you minimise your outgoings and maximise your incoming finances. Some of the obvious things that you might do in terms of maximising income would be to sell things, perhaps selling stuff on eBay. You might need to apply for relevant benefits. If you're not sure of what benefits you're entitled to, then I'd advise you, if you're in the UK, to go to your local Citizens Advice Bureau. They will be able to tell you exactly what benefits you're entitled to. You may need to cash in some investments, so you need to think about what resources you've got at your fingertips. The other thing you need to do is minimise your outgoings, and that might be about some very practical things, like if you've got a mortgage, can you take a mortgage holiday? If you find you can't afford your mortgage or you can't afford the rent that you're paying, is it possible for you to move into shared accommodation with somebody to split the cost? Or indeed, is it possible for you to move in with somebody who would allow you to live rent-free for a short period of time until you get back on your feet? Other practical things you could do, search for budget deals on the internet. So what I suggest you do is make a note of all the possible actions you could take in terms of increasing your incoming finances and reducing your outgoing finances. And under each of those sub-actions, each of those things that you could do, I want you to write down what is the next thing you would need to do in order to make that happen. Now that might be something as simple as I will phone the Citizens Advice Bureau on Monday to make an appointment to go and see them to find out about my benefits. But the important thing here is to break it down into easy, manageable steps. So under each of those actions, write what the next thing is that you could do.